Hi and welcome to another Watch Geek video. Today we're taking a closer look at a very special watch for me. Not because it is some kind of horological wonder or revolution, but because it comes from not just my country but my hometown. A local watch enthusiast and collector who actually did what every watch person ever thought of doing, at least once in their lifetime, me included, to actually make their own watch. We actually discovered each other by noticing each other's watches and started talking, ending up with me saying I have a YouTube channel about watches and him replying he's playing, as he likes to say, with watchmaking. Some people's idea of playing is getting a cheap AliExpress watch toolkit and disassembling an old broken watch. But his idea of playing is taking watchmaking classes, learning everything about CAD design, and actually sending technical drawings to components makers in Europe to see who would be willing to make him the components and ship them to him so he can assemble watches. That means he did not simply select a ready-made off-the-shelf parts like dials, hand, and case, but rather designed them from the ground up. Talk about dedication to a hobby. After years of learning and trying different designs, this is his first model, but he still calls it a working prototype, as he's open to ideas and suggestions about improving this and in designing his future models. Unlike most brands, he did not order a batch of assembled watches, but rather takes the time to assemble each one by himself, as watchmaking and watches is what makes him happy, not the marketing and business part. He's open to the idea of actually becoming a true brand in the future, but for now, like he says, he's playing, and usually the best things come out of playing around instead of chasing a profit, which is the reason there is no official price yet. The model is called Nobilis and his brand MV Watches, where MV are his initials. Pretty simple and straightforward, just like the watch itself. When designing this, he was inspired by vintage watches of the past, but not by their style or looks, but rather proportions, with thickness being the most important. It is something I mention in my channel a lot, usually criticizing modern dress watches that are sometimes even 13+ millimeters thick, whereas all my vintage ones are mostly under 9. He also shares his love for the elegance of thin watches, but as he says, he wanted a modern-looking sports watch with the proportions and thinness of a vintage one. And at just 8.4 millimeters in thickness and 38.5 millimeters in diameter, I think he nailed it. It wears even thinner than the numbers would suggest, as part of the thickness is a protruding sapphire and the sides of the watch are thinned out. It really wears like an ultra-thin watch while looking sporty and modern. The case is simple and wraps around the wrist beautifully. It is a combination of polished sides and brushed surfaces on the top, and thanks to a wide vertically brushed bezel, it plays with the light as you move the watch around, breaking the simplicity. The same can be said about the dial. Simple at first glance with basic markers and hands, it gets more interesting the more you look at it. The hands have a bevel down the middle, making them shimmer, and the dial has horizontal lines that contrast the vertical brushing of the bezel. My favorite part, however, is the chapter ring, especially on versions where they're contrasting the dial in color, because as you know, I am a sucker for a contrasting chapter ring. The thing that surprised me the most, however, is the way it wears on wrist. Because he combined a small, thin case that you would usually find paired to an elegant, thin bracelet and clasp, with a solid link bracelet and a massive milled-out clasp that also comes with on-the-fly adjustment, by the way, the watch on top of your wrist almost matches the weight of the clasp underneath your wrist. And that makes for such a balanced wear that it makes it feel more like a bracelet than a watch, where the watch head simply refuses to wobble around, unlike, let's say, a thick top-heavy diver on a rubber strap. He also admires the simplicity of vintage manual wind watches, which is why this is powered by a manual wind ETA 7001, one of the last old-school movements still available for purchase brand new. Most of my watches are manual wind, so I understand the beauty of winding a watch every morning before you strap it on. It becomes a ritual, a moment you take from a busy life to do that simple task. It might be silly, but to me, it is a bit of a mind reset before you head out into your daily activities and obligations. The use of a manual wind movement is the reason I applaud the use of a simple pull-push crown, as I hate it when brands put a screwing crown on a watch you have to wind every day. It turns that ritual you should enjoy into a chore, as you're always afraid to damage the threads from opening and closing the crown every single day. I might be slightly biased as I know the guy and he's from my hometown, but for a first model ever, he really did a great job, especially at capturing that feeling of thinness and hands that look like they're glued to the back of the crystal. He achieved that flatness that makes thin watches look even thinner, which is impressive, and he nailed the most important of all proportions, the case bezel dial proportion, which when done wrong can make even a beautifully sculpted watch look off somehow. I really hope he succeeds in his plans and that this model turns out to be one of many to come. If nothing else, then simply because he's one of us, who had the guts to do what we all wanted to try at least once, as I said in the beginning. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed and found it useful. If you did, please like and subscribe, and until the next video, bye.